All right, so hello everybody. My name is Jesse, and I'm going to give us just about a minute or so for people to pour in. I know I'm starting a little bit early. Just want to make sure all our teachers, families, friends get a chance to join in for this broadcast before we begin. Today's session is just going to be an info session. That's why we don't have any live classrooms. We're just going to be broadcasting to YouTube. I'm going to highlight a few of the ways that you can use iNaturalist and the Seek apps to engage with BackyardBio coming up in May. It's coming up really rapidly. It's really exciting to have you guys all in, and I'm going to walk through a little bit of some of the cool features and programs that you guys can use with these amazing apps over the course of the month. I want to stress too that we already did one info session last week, so you can check that out on our YouTube channel. I have sent it to all our registered participants, and we've got another one coming up on April 14th, which is more on how you can connect as a classroom, activities you can do as a group, and some of the neat things that you can do collaboratively with some of the other partners we'll be putting in touch with you over the course of the month. Right now, we've got 140 classrooms registered from 7 countries. I think we've got 12 states and 6 provinces. So it's going really, really well, and I'm excited to have you guys all in. Today's presentation should be about 15 minutes or so, and then I'm going to be around for another 10 minutes or so for questions from all our participants. So with that, let me share how you can use iNaturalist and Seek for your classrooms for BackyardBio. Let me dive in, bring that up, and get us underway. All right. So iNaturalist and Seek for BackyardBio. Let's dive in. First and foremost, what is iNaturalist? iNaturalist is the ultimate community. Oh, did I get rid of it? No, I didn't. There we go. I know what I'm doing. Somewhat. iNaturalist is the ultimate community hub for nature explorers, both amateur and professional. It is such a fantastic app. It's something that, when I was a kid, Steve Irwin was my absolute hero. I loved the chance to listen in on tales of adventure, exploration, wildlife around the globe. And I would always want the chance to learn more about the creatures that live near me. iNaturalist is the way to do that. It is such a fantastic tool with so many neat features. So we're going to dive in today on how you can use it to really make it an enriching experience for your classroom or group. So let's dive in. So first of all, teacher, parent, kid over 13. We'll explain a little bit about why that is a little bit later. Head to inaturalist.org and register today. You can see the homepage right here. So if you go in here, just click sign up right there. You'll be in, and we're going to walk through some of the features that you guys can use if you're using the iNaturalist app. So one of our big questions over the course of the last month, for people using iNaturalist, we want teachers to be the lead for their classrooms. So if you're a classroom you're taking part, the teacher can create one solo account for the classroom on iNaturalist, similar with parents. And if you have older kids, if you're a family with kids over 13, if you're a classroom with kids in grade 9 and beyond, by all means, each individual student can use iNaturalist. We had a group in Wyoming take part this way, and it was really exciting to see how they got involved and engaged with the platform. It's just really important to make sure you're over 13 if you're using it. So head to inaturalist.org and register today. Now that you've registered, before we learn about how you can actually submit observations of your own, let's go exploring together. So this is the iNaturalist homepage. If you go in and click explore, and what this represents is how many people, how many observations, and how many species have been sort of unveiled or showcased through the app since its inception. Over 60 million observations have been made on iNaturalist since it was created. 326,000 species. So on planet Earth, we have positively identified something in the order of 2 million species. And so 1 in every 6 kinds of creature that have ever been discovered in the history of mankind have been seen by people on this app. That is an amazing accomplishment. And with it, over 1.5 million people have used it since its inception. You can see where they're spread all over the globe, a lot of European and North American observations, and slowly but surely we are filling in gaps around the world through the app. It's a really, really exciting platform. So let's explore together. Let's see one of the things that you guys can do as a group with the app. I'm going to pick a city at random. Richmond, Virginia. I've never been to Richmond, Virginia. I know absolutely nothing about it. You can do this with any city in the world, whether it's your own personal city or a city that you're curious about around the globe. Right in the observations field, type in Richmond, Virginia, and here we go. So we can see that there's been almost 34,000 observations made with the app in the city of almost a little over 3,600 species. So let's dive in on what that actually looks like. If we zoom in on the city, where are the hot spots? Where do you find more species? You can do this on a city scale. You can do this with your school, whatever works for you, wherever you want to find out where observations have been made. You can scroll into the map at any scale and find out where things have been captured en masse. So here, the hot spot is clearly the river. The James River, which I discovered in making this presentation, most of the observations are along the riverbank. So whether that reflects that people go to the riverbank to take those sort of pictures, or that there's just more species, whether it's fish, waterfowl, plants by the river, if you're going to go exploring in Richmond, Virginia, and you want to find the most species possible, you'd head to the river. And you can find out that sort of thing through the app. If you scroll in on your school grounds anywhere in the world, you can see some of the creatures that have been seen near you. It might prompt you to go looking for things you might not have known were there. What is there to find? So same thing, we've got Richmond still up. All the observations are there, 3,600 species. If you click that species tab, what you find is all the species that have been most captured. And what that reflects is the creatures, plants, fungi that have been seen more than any other. So in Richmond, it's sweet gum, it's Canada geese, it's American holly. You can go down the list and see what organisms have been most observed. In Toronto, where I am, it would be eastern gray squirrels or American robins, blue jays, the things that we see on a day-by-day basis. So you can get a sense of what lives near you, what there's more of, what there's less of. Maybe there's an endangered species on the list. You can find out about endangered species near you. It's a really, really fun tool for learning a little bit more. Also, who's looking? So as you can see in Richmond, almost 2,000 people have gone out with the app and taken these photos. And so if you click that observers file, you find out who's been making those observations, how many observations they've made, and how many species they've discovered. And I love this because I've used the app to connect with some of these people and find out more about regions around the globe. Say you clicked on any of these names, you know, with the fact that you're registering for this program, registering for the app, you might find out that these people run local zoos or local nature centers. Maybe they know they've been a naturalist in the city for decades. So you can reach out to these people directly and ask about their experiences getting out in nature. Find out some of the hot spots that they may have discovered for finding cool species. I just find it a really useful tool. I've had many fantastic conversations with people through the iNaturalist app and learned a lot about local biodiversity where I am in Toronto. So the other thing you can do outside of going to an individual city is to track species. So any species in the world, what's really nice about iNaturalist is that it is a community hub for nature. And it's not just for amateur naturalists, but for professional ones too. Say I was a scientist and I was studying blue jays. Well, I could talk to scientists around the world. I could go out on epic expeditions and I could look for blue jays. Or as a start, I can type in blue jays into the iNaturalist app. So what you get here is all the images of blue jays that have ever been captured by anyone in the history of the app. And so from this data, from this image, you get a lot of information. You get the boundary of distribution. You get the point at which there are no blue jays past that point. You get the areas where more blue jay pictures have been captured. So you get a sense of where the hotspots are, where most of them live. In this case, Texas, Florida, and then the northeast coast of the United States up into Ontario. So with any species you're fascinated with, you can get this sort of map. You can see what's out there. Could be tigers, could be monarch butterflies, could be gorillas in the rainforest. I mean, there's so much to discover just by typing in species and seeing what you find. So what can you do with iNaturalist? This is a summation of everything I've been talking about over the last 5 minutes, but explore the world to see what lives anywhere on Earth. If you're a class in Canada and you want to find out what exists in the outback in Australia, you can do that through the app. If you want to find out what lives near you, check that out on the map as well. Here in Toronto, I've discovered so many species I had no idea were here just by looking on iNaturalist, and I've discovered the places to go where I can go and try and discover them. You can track animal distribution for anything on the planet. So, of course, some animals don't have a lot of observations, so it's harder to do this. But if there's creatures that people have captured a lot of images of, you can get a rough sense of what's going on and reach out to some of the people that have taken those images to learn more from them. Connecting with local naturalists, one of my favorite things with the app. Finally, join the BackyardBio project. So here's where we get into some of the nitty-gritty of iNaturalist. So head to inaturalist.org. You've registered as a teacher or as a parent or as a kid over 13. Go to the community tab. This is one of our tabs on the very top of the screen that we saw with Explore and Observations earlier. Search BackyardBio and you'll find our project. Or head to the link below, inaturalist.org/project/BackyardBio, and you'll see our project page come up. So this is our project page. This is going to be our one-stop shop for all our families and groups that are using iNaturalist for the BackyardBio project. It's worth noting too that groups can just share their images on social media. Groups can just register on our website and connect with other groups. You don't need to use iNaturalist, but as hopefully I've shared over the last few minutes, it's a really engaging tool that you can use with your classrooms or groups. So if you're on the BackyardBio page, join. At the top right of the screen, there's going to be a really quick one-click registration to join. And what that means is that any observation you make with the app over the course of the month will be pooled together under the BackyardBio project. If you want to just use iNaturalist, fantastic. But if you want your observations to count towards this sort of network and collaborative, comprehensive portrait of life on Earth that we're seeking to create at Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants, join the project. In our September pilot, we had 14,000 observations made of over 4,000 species in 10 countries. We are looking to go supernova and get way more than that this time around in May, so I'd be really excited for groups to join our project. You can also see our project journal on the right, where naturalists and leaders in the project will get a chance to share some of their stories and images throughout the course of the month, and there'll be more tools and tips and tricks that you can check out on the iNaturalist site throughout the course of May. So how do you submit observations? Now you've seen how you can explore and checked out some of the neat ways that you can use the iNaturalist app. How do you actually submit and share pictures you've captured? So right on the page, this is my personal page. At the top, there's upload button. This works with the app as well. Click that upload button. Drag and drop some photos or sounds. I love that sound is included here. If you're out in nature and you hear a bird call and you can't actually get a picture of that bird, capture its sound, share that on iNaturalist, and through the algorithm and through the community, you'll help identify what you discovered. So I dragged a photo here, this terrible screenshot of a blurry picture of a bird I captured the other day. And there's a few fields you're gonna need to fill out. Date, that's obvious. Location is important because location, you can be very specific. In this case, I literally caught this picture on my property and I highlighted that. But if you want to be a little broader, if you want to make sure that people can't see your location quite so distinctly, you can make that location your city or your state or province. It doesn't really matter. The more concrete it is, the better the data will be, but wherever you're able to share is great. Under species name, just click the box. And when you click the box, the algorithm helps identify what you've discovered. So in this case, this bird, it tells me that it's in this genus, in this group of creatures, and then tells you some of the creatures it thinks it might be based on organisms that have been spotted nearby and look similar. In this case, the very first suggestion, a house finch, is correct. That is what I saw in my front yard the other day. And so it's a really fantastic tool to learn about some of those things near you. Now, say I was being a rebel and decided to click northern cardinal. I thought it was a cardinal. Well, if I submit that, which you'll see how to do that in a second, the community of iNaturalist will help me realize the error of my ways. They'll help point out that it wasn't a cardinal, that it was a house finch, and here's why. I've shared observations in the past where I thought it was one thing, but the community works together to help make sure that all the observations are as good as possible and as accurate as possible. And that helps these observations work and help actual citizen scientists in action. So check that out. I made it a house finch, click submit in the top right, and then the observation's in. So again, if you've registered for the BackyardBio project, all those observations that you guys capture throughout May will be visible on the project page. So we can get at a glance how many people are taking part in BackyardBio around the globe and what they're capturing. It's really, really fun. So the Seek app, what's it all about? I could tell you all day about the Seek app, but what I'm gonna do to start is actually exit my screen share here for a second and show you a quick video of Seek in action, because no one does it better at explaining Seek than the people themselves. So let me bring that up for you guys, and we will share this for everyone. Let's pull this up and see. Right. I absolutely love that. I hope you guys are as obsessed with that as I am. It is Pokemon Go for nature. It incentivizes nature collection by allowing you to earn badges for the things that you discover, and at a glance, through their algorithm, identify what you've discovered. So Seek is such a fun tool. I absolutely love it. I encourage everyone, when you're done this broadcast, of any age, to download the Seek app. I have it on my phone. It is so much fun to use. Such a good time. And yeah, it's the best. Let me pull up that presentation again for our last few slides, and we'll wrap up from there and dive in with your questions in the chat bar. So let me pull this up. Go. Perfect. All right. So when do you Seek? Always. Seek is so much fun. If you want to just get out with your family, if you're on a trail or in a local forest or want to get out in the schoolyard, Seek is such an awesome tool. If you can't gather together, but you want your kids at home to see what they can discover as a teacher, encourage them to use Seek. It is so much fun, so easy to use. You got a chance to see it in the video, so do check it out. Most importantly, one of the big things about Seek was designed to help make sure that location data wasn't captured. iNaturalist location data means that it can be used for real science. You can track those species like I showed in their distribution. But for kids under 13, we obviously don't want the location data getting out into the wide world. So Seek makes sure there's no location data captured. It means that you can navigate and explore very safely and learn about the species near you at one click of a button. So where to learn more? This was a 15-minute, very rapid-fire presentation highlighting some of the ways you can use iNaturalist and Seek. But if you want to learn more, head to our website. So backyardbio.net/resources. This is right on our website. You can see iNaturalist video tutorials, a Seek app guide, teacher user guides, and more. There's so much that the organizations have actually created themselves that I'd really encourage you guys to check out as a follow-up to today's presentation. Finally, get out there. There's so much to discover. Here in Toronto, we have so many amazing creatures. If you're joining us from Miami, from Houston, from Vancouver, Edinburgh, Melbourne, anywhere on this planet, there are species outdoors to discover. My contention is that if any kid or family spends just 10 minutes outdoors, out their front yard, backyard, in a local nature area, 10 minutes closely observing, looking, and listening, you will find at least 10 species. If every one of our network did that, this would be far and away the largest nature campaign for youth ever in the world. So I hope you guys are inspired to use the iNaturalist and Seek apps. I look very forward to your questions, and thank you so much for listening. So let's dive in, guys. I've got 10 more minutes. I'm so looking forward to chatting. We've got Jody, Levi, Diane. I hope you guys can share more questions in the chat, and I look forward to hearing from you. One of the big questions too that I got sort of in an email before this is location data again. So on iNaturalist, if you are sharing an image, if you're linking it in and submitting it, you can make your location as big as you want. You don't need to do the local area that you're in. You could do a whole state or province or city, whatever works best for you. I think that's sort of the most effective, useful tool and way of going about it. For teaching online classes, so this is of course something that's going to be the case for a lot of teachers coming in May. Ideally, you would go out as a classroom. You'd get a chance to do a bio blitz together where you all went out and explored. That is unlikely to be the case for a lot of our teachers participating in May. And I think that that's one of the main benefits of the Backyard Bio program generally. This is something where you can get people to do self-directed learning at home in a very easy way. If you're a teacher with young kids, what I'd suggest is get your kids to go out with a phone, with a camera, with a sketch pad, and see what they can document. So if they don't want to take a picture, great, sketch it. Share those images with you, and then you can either share them on social media, share them on iNaturalist, or use them as sort of a backdrop to connect with other classrooms around the world. Any kid given 10 minutes to go outdoors and exploring with the express purpose of getting out and seeing what species they can discover, I contend will hopefully do that in a really fun and engaging way. So encourage those kids to get out. Encourage them to search for different species. This is something that we're going to be covering more on the 14th as well. But one of the things that one of our partners, Earth Rangers, is doing is getting kids to look for different kinds of creature. Find an insect, find a mollusk, find a mammal, find a bird. You can get kids to not only find more species, but learn more about what makes species different from one another, what makes groups of organisms different from one another. And I think that that's a really special thing to learn, that there's so much out there. Snails in your backyard are closely related to octopus. And that's something that a lot of people wouldn't naturally think of or know without that sort of nature exploration. So I hope that that answers that, Diane. Jody, how will we connect with other classes? So there's a couple ways. If groups want to share on social media with hashtag BackyardBio, that's very easy. Everyone at a glance can see images shared by other groups around the world. Same with iNaturalist. If you join the Backyard Bio project, if you submit observations to that as a teacher or as a kid over 13 or family member, great. You'll not only get to see your own observations and where you sort of rank on the leaderboard of Backyard Bio, but you'll get to see what people have shared from all over the world. So if there's a Tanzanian classroom, you might get wildlife that's very, very different from what you'd have in Canada at a glance. In terms of formal connection, this is where the website comes in. So on BackyardBio.net, go to the website and there's a huge registration box. If you haven't signed up already, do. If you register your group and say that you'd like to be connected, we are going to connect you personally with 3 other groups of a similar age around the globe. The goal is to put groups in touch with people that are as far away from them as possible. So where possible, it's not going to be like a Toronto, Brampton, Mississauga, and Burlington class. It's going to be a Toronto and a Vancouver and an Edinburgh and a Melbourne, so that they have the chance to see what creatures are like from around the globe and connect with classrooms that they'd otherwise never have had the chance to partner with. So that's the biggest element of this campaign. It's something, again, that we're going to talk about more on the 14th, but I'm really, really excited at kids getting the chance to lead the conversation, to lead the exploration, go out and explore and find all these amazing things, but then to get to showcase what they discovered to people their own age. At Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants, we love bringing in these experts that can talk about wildlife around the globe, but I think there's real power in anyone getting the chance to share what they found. I mean, my own front yard, the other day I was counting and found 12 species of bird came by my front yard in the course of a day. 12. That's a lot. Just to sit literally through my front window and see that sort of diversity is a special thing. And I mean, I get the chance to tell you about that through the Backyard Bio program. So hopefully that all makes sense, and you guys can tune in on the 14th as well, live or on YouTube, to learn a little bit more. Again, one of the big differences I want to highlight, Seek is amazing. We love Seek. It's the best. For our purposes, it's really nice to be able to have this data set at the end of the program, at the end of May, to have people use the iNaturalist app and submit their observations to that means that we'll have, at a glance, be able to say, hey, 30,000 observations were made by people in 25 countries and 10,000 individuals. That's a really important thing because it helps us expand, it helps us showcase what we're doing and why it's important. So that's why we spent so much time today talking about iNaturalist as opposed to Seek independently. But I would say if you're a kid, if you're a parent, use Seek. This is something I've been relentlessly showcasing on social media, the Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants Twitter page as well, and with some of our partners. It is such a nimble tool. It is so, so cool to have at your fingertips a means of identifying all the creatures near you, where they live around the globe, cool facts about them, and to earn badges and complete challenges. I just think that's the coolest thing, and I hope you guys do too. We've got a few more minutes if anyone else has any more questions, so please do share. Again, I know Jody's joining us from Chalk River, Ontario. Diane, welcome in as well. Please do feel free to pass along any questions. And I'll bring up on a banner in a second, actually right now, my email address, so that if anyone does have any further questions, you guys can reach out to me at this email, and I'd be happy to answer anything you guys might have. So for groups being connected, when you register on the page, Jody, there's an option to pick whether you're school, eco club, homeschool, or family. If you're a group, so anything higher than a family, homeschool, eco club, school, we're going to partner you with groups that are the same. So if you're a school, you're going to be partnered with other schools. We did this back in September where we have 4 and 5 classes actually partnered together, and then we give them a bunch of options for how they can set up those sort of collaborations. Maybe it's an email chain. Maybe it's a Google Doc where people submit those images. Maybe, and I think most excitingly, it's a video call where your class will have the chance to have a chat like this with other classrooms around the world and showcase those sort of pictures. On our YouTube channel, if you type in Backyard Bio, one of the things we have is a Backyard Bio student showcase where we had 4 classes actually sharing those images where the kids were leading that conversation. So yes, you guys will be partnered with a classroom. April 15th, I'm beginning the process of connecting groups together. We're expecting a lot more registrations between the 15th and throughout May. So I'm hoping to get you guys together with someone on the 15th. Great question. My email's up right now, so you guys can check that out. The other thing worth noting, again, a lot of our groups may know this, but BackyardBio.net is our shop for everything, whether you want to find out about the campaign, how you can get involved, register your class, or check out our bevy of educational resources. There's so much there to discover from some of our amazing partner organizations. There's how-to guides, there's apps, there's programs, there's learning things, there's whatever you're interested in the natural world, there's probably something for you at BackyardBio.net. And of course, we're also going to be doing a series of programs throughout April and May with naturalist all-stars from around the globe, highlighting Backyard Bio near them. So check out exploringbytheseat.com to see some of those programs coming up very, very shortly. April 19th, we've got Peter Soroyi, who's going to be joining us talking about saving pollinators and Backyard Bio. So some of the really cool organisms he's had the chance to shoot just outside his back door. Hopefully that answers everyone's questions. I'm going to wrap it up there. This will stay on YouTube forever, so if people do want to check it out, if people would like a copy of the presentation, I'm happy to send it. Do send any messages to my email, jesse@exploringbytheseat.com, if you want any more answers, and I really appreciate the chance to chat with you guys today about iNaturalist and Seek. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and thanks so much for tuning in. Bye for now, guys.